Sleep is so important, and it really, really does impact your performance mentally and physically throughout the day. It sounds obvious, like no shit, Sherlock. Of course, sleep is important, but you really take it for granted when you're sleeping well, just how vital it is for you to function normally throughout the day. If you ever had a few days consistently through work or bad sleeping pattern or whatever, where your sleep has just been completely shot, it's like the number one thing that triggers all other problems in your life and makes them all worse. And it becomes really, really obviously apparent when you're doing workouts and when you train regularly, because it's when you start to lose the recovery from sleep, that's when you start to feel all of the soreness and the achiness and those little niggling injuries or those little niggling pains that you get. If you've trained regularly, you'll get them and they'll happen. But when you're training on very little sleep, then that's when they start to really set in and they start to feel painful. And that's exactly what I was coping with throughout these muscle ups. I had a weird pain in kind of like the biceps tendon on my left side. Maybe it was because I was changing the form on these muscle ups a little bit, but the form actually looked quite good on this first. This is actually the second set. I forgot to record the first one. The form was actually really good, but then the biceps tendon started to feel weird, and then the form, I started to break it up into two, where I'd sort of lean my chest over the bar and then push up from there. But that sort of progressed into the rest of the workout, and it kind of just made the rest of the workout go downhill from there. So I missed the last muscle up in this set, and then I was like, well, I should have made that. I really should have made that. Then I got in my head about it, started to beat myself up a little bit. I think it's here. Missed it, couldn't get over. I definitely could have made that. I was high enough, but beat myself up for not doing the right form, whatever. Then I came back and tried to do it again, missed it again, and then I was really pissed off. So I was like, right, I'm definitely making it this time. Have a couple seconds rest, walked back again, made it this time. But that just really put me into a kind of negative headspace going into the overhead press, or sorry, the push press. My mind is not functioning optimally at the moment. I'm really feeling a bit a bit tired from all of this lack of sleep. But these push presses, they didn't go the greatest. And I think for next time, I'm gonna see if I can maintain the same weight. But it's just so frustrating when you've worked on even a higher weight before. So I've gone up to 82.5 and 85 and done good sets of 3 with push press. And in this whole workout, I was struggling to do 80 kilos with halfway decent form. I was getting stuck at the top. Just before lockout, I was, unevenly pushing with my shoulders. My form was all over the place. Wasn't balanced on my feet. That was the first set. Really struggling there, and then it just carried on staying that bad. It carried on staying in that same level of effort that I had to put in just to get the reps up for a weight that I should be doing really easily by now, had I had enough sleep and rest and recovery and been able to recover from these workouts. I mean, to be fair, I feel like I am doing a little bit more pushing with the upper body on some of these reps, especially when I'm doing the last rep in the set, or the first rep in the set, sorry. When I'm doing that first rep, I feel like I am taking a lot more of that strain with my upper body, trying to push more with, my shoulders, my triceps, my upper back. But it still isn't as optimal as I want it to be. I'm not improving at the rate I want to be doing. And, I'm literally asking too much of myself right now on the amount of sleep and the number of hours that I'm getting at the night for the last probably week. The last week or so, haven't been getting enough sleep in order to be able to get a good enough recovery. So it just goes to show that this mindset of like, yes, I can just push through it and I can grind through it. And don't get me wrong, that is a good mindset to have, and it is very useful to have in instances where you're in non-optimal situations, where maybe there's certain things you can't control. But when there are some small tweaks that you're able to make that are in your control that will improve your sleep, that will actually improve the ability that you have to be able to put in more hard work and be able to get more value out of your workout. Because yes, grinding through workouts on 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, or even 1 or no hours of sleep is possible and it's doable, but it's definitely not sustainable. It's not something you want to be doing long term. That's how you destroy your body, and that's how you get injuries. That's how you get, you get serious and severe injuries from doing that, and then you won't be able to train anymore after that, and you're not working for the future, you do want to have a sustainable long-term approach to training, and that is really something I need to start working on with what I'm doing here. And it was at this point when my mind was just screaming at me like, "You need to stop working out, man. You're you're not gaining any value from this workout." But I needed to do the number of sets and reps that I prescribed. I'm a bit obsessive like that. I'm a bit compulsive like that. If I've said I'm going to do 6 sets of 3, I make sure I do 6 sets of 3. It's the same thing with these front levers. I wanted to do 4 sets of 3, so I made sure I did 4 sets of 3. And I was getting really emotional at this point in the workout because I just feel like I'm not progressing at the way I want to be and the speed I want to be doing. I have this vision in my mind of all the amazing skills I want to be able to do with my body. And when you're stuck at a certain progress level, you're hitting this really, really long plateau. I've been at this plateau and this sort of progress level for weeks right now. It feels like I've been sort of hitting my head against a brick wall with my training for the last few weeks at least. It's extremely emotionally taxing because it isn't easy to be continuously putting in effort to do all these workouts and not to see any results. That is one of the most difficult things that no one will ever tell you about physical training. It's very, very hard to overcome that adversity of putting in loads and loads of effort and putting in loads and loads of time and not seeing any progress for it, not really seeing any reward for your returns. And there's no one really to blame but yourself. It's really you versus you. And every single time you have thoughts like this, it does get very, very emotionally taxing. It's really, really hard. And I literally was listening to a song throughout this workout. It's a song called Adagio in D minor. I can't remember who it's by. I think it's by John Murphy. Very, very emotional orchestral song. I think it was from the movie Sunshine with Cillian Murphy in it. But at this point, I was listening to this song and I was just like tearing up because I was just so emotional, so pissed off, because you have that kind of like complex feeling of, one, this is a constant uphill struggle and anything worthwhile in life is always going to be an uphill battle. And just coming to terms with that is very difficult because being up, it's hard to go uphill. It's taxing. It's emotionally taxing. It's physically taxing, and it's hard work. But you also have that complex feeling of, I also love this and I'm passionate about this, and it's a choice that I've consciously decided to do this. So you kind of bear that labor and that hard work nobly. You bear it with love. It's the labor of love, I suppose, is the term I'm looking for here. But it's such a complex emotion, and it gets you incredibly emotionally fired up, especially when you're listening to music like this. It emotionally charges you. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, I didn't have to edit that clip in of me crying, but I felt like it's going to provide some value to you guys, because I know that everyone who watches these videos, who trains, you're all going through something, you're all struggling at something. Don't stop, don't give up, just keep at it, stay consistent, keep persevering, and you'll get through to the other side. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.